22nd of October 23, YouTube. It's Sunday, and I'm just 22nd of October 23, and I'm just following the Swiss elections. Although I'm finding it pretty difficult. It's loads of times in now. It's 7:30 in the evening. So it's about 9:30 there or something. But it looks like in Switzerland they've been voting a right-wing, quote, populist party, as Google Bard puts the SVP. Around about 28%. They're usually voting them. But there's two things about Switzerland I'd like to say about their election. I said this in my second ever thing, or it was an early one, that Switzerland's really the only country that's got a true democracy. I've heard that Luxembourg have the same sort of system, so I don't know. But in Switzerland, it's all proportional representation. You get lots of choices. I think you can even vote for a candidate rather than a party. And you get lots of votes. I don't know. And also they have quarterly referendums on things that I've got enough people registered to make that be a referendum thing. So every quarter of the year they have 3 or 4 things that they vote on via referendum. So to me, this is the ultimate democracy. If you compare that to Britain and USA, in Scotland and the UK, we get to vote first past the majority, first past the post. Just majority wins, really. Never mind if they're really a minority in terms of percent. And then that's the same in America as well. And then in America, they're lucky to get voting every 4 years with that system. In Australia, it's every 3 years, which I agree with. It should be every 3 years in a democracy. And then Britain, and under Nicola Sturgeon, because she changed it, we get to vote every 5 years. So that means you'll get voting twice every 10 years, you know. So if you're currently 17 and you haven't get a vote, you'll get your first vote around when you're 22. I mean, I'm not bothered about bringing it down to 16 anyway. That's up to others. I suppose if they could fight in the army, then, although they're not allowed to go on the front line, I think, when they're in the army. But, so you would get your first vote when you were 22, say, and your next vote would be 27. By the time you're 32, you would have two times to elect the government in a first past the post system, where if you don't vote the popular one in your local area, then you've lost, really. There's not even any point almost going out to vote. So compare that to Switzerland, where you can get to vote parties or thingies if you don't like individuals or you like ones, all that sort of stuff. Because the party hamper democracy doesn't work, in my opinion, because there's too many things. I mean, if you look at Wales in the moment, Wales are wanting to bring in the 20-mile-an-hour zone. Now, did Labour voters vote for that? You know, because from his point of view, he was saying, I'm doing this things for what we said, but it's probably his pet project, you know. I mean, the theory is if you go at 20 miles an hour, there's much less chance of fatalities or whatever. Personally, I think it's looking at it the wrong way. The worst thing in a road is if you can't see clearly both sides, or, there's build-up cars parked or whatever, that sort of thing. So some parts of the road, to me, would be 10 mile an hour in that scenario, and then when you get by that, probably 30 mile an hour or whatever, you know. But there's a lot of roads that are 30 mile an hour that I think should be 40 or 35 even. You know, a lot of times when I'm driving the limit, mainly because I'm scared in case there's a speed trap or whatever, I've got a massive queue behind me. So why am I talking about this anyway? Yeah, I'm talking about, party hampers. That's the way Britain and America, you know, because we're the oldest democracies. But we've got democracies that don't really function properly, you know. Switzerland's got the best in the world. And I think the irony is every year there's a sort of democracy index. I don't know who does it, whether it's a UN or a charity or whatever. But to me, Switzerland need to be number one in that every year, but they're usually not. Usually they're about seventh or something. Apparently they're taking other things into like free speech, but to me it's all about the political system, because that's what sets this free speech. It's the people who are in charge or whatever. But anyway, I'm just looking at the Swiss. So the Swiss is the best democracy as you can get it. I mean, you need to have proportional representation at least. But that one that David Cameron offered in a referendum in 2011, he knew he was going to win, that's why he done it. And he thought he was going to win the Scottish independence one and the Brexit one. So that's the only reason he held the referendums. Yeah, that proportional representation thing was so bad, the additional member or whatever it was. It's so bad that Theresa May would have trounced Jeremy Corbyn in 2017, with a stonking majority or whatever you want to call it. But instead she's just struggled over the hangway with the first past post. So that's ironic that proportional representation worked the wrong way, because Jeremy Corbyn got the biggest vote since Tony Blair in 2001. He got one of the best Labour votes ever. And Labour MPs, their aim is to make you think that 2017 Parliament was a disaster, that Jeremy's reign was a disaster, And even in 2019, Jeremy Corbyn was, I don't know, he was like the fourth highest or fifth in terms of people who voted for him. But again, more people turned out, and Boris got a really higher than normal thingy. So both of these elections, and that happened in 91 with John Major as well. You would think John Major couldn't inspire people. I thought he was all right, John Major, but you would think he was very uninspiring. But I guess they all came out because they didn't want Neil Kinnock, basically. So Neil Kinnock got a massive vote, but John Major got an even bigger one. I think John Major's got the most votes ever. And to think that in 96 he got absolutely flattened, Yeah, I'll just look at this Swiss thing. So the results are coming in, and it looks like this Swedish right-wing party, or as it's been called in Bar, populist, that sort of thing, and Google Bard. It looks like they've been in charge of the country the last 5 elections. It's every 4 years there. They've got a upper house and a lower house, and I'm guessing you elect them all. So again, compare that to our House of Lords, where we've got Michelle Mone in there, brought in by David Cameron. Who knows who Boris has put in there? He tried to get his hairdresser in there. I can't even believe that he's got a hairdresser. That was the biggest shock to me. Yeah, so that's the shambles of our democracy, and that's one thing I respect the SNP for, is not putting anyone in there. That's got prestige that you can't think. I mean, if Labour done the same, I would have respect for them, but of course they're not going to. They're going to cram. It was Tony Blair that really started cramming in people there, because he realised it was a way to get things through, or they could get blocked there, So, yeah, that sort of thing, So, what we're talking about, the Swiss thing, the more I hear about the Swiss thing, the more I like it, really. And it looks like they're voting well, do they call them far right? I don't know, but populist part of the Switzerland VP, or I'm guessing People's Party or something like that. I'm just looking, Google Bards, they're just counting just now, because it's about 9:30 there or something. 136 out of 200 seats are declared for the lower chamber. So far, the SVP have got 44. I think that's, you can't tell yet whether that's more or less. Google Bard says they're going to get more votes this time. And I'm sort of envious of Switzerland, who are able to express their opinions on that, whereas we can't in Britain, really. We've not really got a system, because we've got 2 or 3 parties and they offer party hampers, So because, I'm guessing this isn't the Tory party over there, isn't the equivalent. So apparently they've won the last, since 1999, they've won all the elections. It used to be a country where it was always the left to get in until about 1983. Since then, the left have only got in once in 1985, and then they get moved out. The next election, and since then it's been this party that aren't even the centre right, so they aren't even the Tory equivalent. So yeah, I'm just looking at the Greens. The Greens, the first tried there in 75, they get 0.1%. They're expected in a moment to get about 9.2. I don't know if it says election result, but I think they'll get a bit more than that. Their highest was 13.2 in 2019. Personally, I think if you agree with the Greens' values, then you need to vote right at the moment to save them from themselves, really. That's just my opinion. I mean, in the past, I've voted Green, Labour, SNP, Lib Dem, everyone. I would have never voted right, but now I vote right because I can see how the UK is going, and Scotland. So, and I advise Agnes and Jerry and their flat in Denniston to do the same, to stop voting SNP and to vote right as a protest vote. That's just my opinion. These are mythical people, by the way. I don't know if they exist. I'm just trying to say it in a YouTube way, which I think, well, I better not go on about that sort of stuff on YouTube. So yeah, I'm just looking at Switzerland today. So they've got their sort of liberal party, which is not liberal. I think that means sort of like Richard Tice's Reform Party, that are about low taxes and that sort of stuff. They were quite popular, but they seem to be coming down. But I don't know. These results I'm looking at are from that Europe elects, but I always find them a bit behind the curve or whatever, or there's some sort of catch in the results. But this party used to get like 26%, 59, and 79, they get 26.8%. Since then, they've been drifting down. So this is like the Reform Party to me. Maybe the Tories, maybe this is like the Tory Party. Now they're at like 14.6% in 23. I don't know if that's a result or we're waiting for the final. Say 2019, they were 15.1. That SVP party who are, quote, populist party, and, well, to the right anyway, I don't know if far right is. I'll check if Google Bar says far right. Sorry guys, please bear with me. Right-wing party, it says, actually. Known for its populist and anti-immigration views. So, yeah, the last result I had from Google Bard was the Swiss People's Party. I'll get 63. The Labour Party, the Social Democrat Party, I'll get 45. The Liberal Party, this is like the Reform Party in Britain, 38. Centre Party, I'm guessing this is the Tory Party, 32. Greens, 22. Other parties, 0. I think that's the upper house. Or is it lower? I think it's lower, actually. But maybe that's just seats counted so far, though. I don't think. Bard says the SVP made gains in the elections, increasing its number of seats in the National Council from 53 to 63. I take that to be a good sign, personally. It's up to you. I think Green, if you're with the Greens' values, I see that as you need to vote that someone like the SVP at the moment to sort of save them from themselves, really. That's what I think, It's YouTube, so I can't say anything else. Let's see what else we got here. So I really hope you're enjoying this. Yeah. Well, the Swiss national election today, the centre-right LCDM party, that was a merger, but apparently, or something. and they're part of the European People's Party group in the EU thing. That's the centre right. The Tories would have been in that. I think this is a projection. There may be at 14.6. So, I mean, this used to really be the ruling party as far as I understand it. In 59, they had 23.3. Their highest ever was 63. They had 23.4. Then they sort of hung about the low 20s, dipped down to the late teens. 2003, they were down to 14.4. They've just dipped down the whole way, really. So they're projected to 14.6 at the moment. Yeah, I really wish that Britain was like that at the moment, you know. These sort of percentages. Sadly, we don't have options. As I say, because of democracy, our democracy isn't... ours is ancient, basically, and America's is ancient, because if you look at Iraq's is proportional representation. Probably America and UK forced that on them, you know. Although they probably wanted it as well, but they probably forced it on them because it's more democratic than first past the post. Full stop, or period, as I say in Switzerland. Yeah, I'm just looking at the left. So this is like the Labour Party in Switzerland. From 59 to 2023. In 59 they were 26.4, so they were probably the biggest party then. And they were mid-20s till about 83, and then they were 22.8. Then 87 they took a dip at 18.4. 91 they were 18.5. They went back up in 95 to 21.8. 22, 99. 2003, 23, so they were really back up. But then 2007 they were down to 19.5, and since then they've just been late teens, 18.7, 18.8, 16.8, 17.5. That's every 4 years since 2007. So they're projected 70.5. So they're really sort of a busted flush in a way, really, you know. I wonder if they probably usually go in with the Greens or whatever, you know. And apparently in Switzerland, since 59 to 2023, although that's a projection. I'm presuming red means socialist and yellow means the right. But it was always Labour or the socialists sitting on the left. From 59 to 79 it was always 26.4 and 59 to 24.4 and 79. The lowest was 22.9 and 71. After that, it was the right came in 83. They had 23.3, and they were till 95. So they were 23, 22, 21. Then 95, the left get in again at 21.8, so they just seemed to have sort of scraped in. But that was it. After 99, it's been the right every year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elections in a row. 22.5 in 99. But since then, they went all the way up. 2003, they were 26.7. 28, 26, 29, 25, 28.9 now. So they're back to nearly their highest. I'm presuming that's the SVP and the UDC. I don't know the UDC. I think that's that Richard Tice Reform Party type party, or it's the Tory type party. I don't know, but yeah. So that's the way it's looking at the moment. I can only look on Switzerland and anything, both of their electoral system and the way they're voting. So yeah, I'm just looking again. So I'm just probably I will be counted fully today, but I still find it pretty hard to follow these things. There's a guy on YouTube who tries his best, but I don't think it's any faster than Twitter, and also he plays music and that, you know. Yeah, that's the way it's looking at the moment. So I'm really envious of their electoral party, and I mean, I just wish we had that electoral system. You would have thought that maybe SNP would have brought it in. Well, we have proportional representation up in Scotland to a degree, but but not enough for my liking. You need to look at Switzerland, really, because it's not about parties. It's about each thing being considered on its own merit. You've got to have some sort of leadership in that, but definitely we're far away from that in the moment in our old ancient democracies, so I'll speak if anything else happens.